All right. I think we're back, everybody. Sorry about that technical difficulties. But we should be good now, again, I think. So, hello, everybody, once again. Good to see you guys. This is Stu.
Hey, everybody.
Stu and I, many years ago, we worked in a band together. Stu plays trombone, or played trombone, I should say, I guess. Well, you know, you're like me. It's like, once a musician.
Still a musician.
Yeah, you know, like, that's part of your brain. You know, you can't get it out.
Rid of the
yeah,
musician.
that's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Little music in my life, but not on the stage so much.
So, Yusuf had a question, but I think I lost his question when we had to restart.
I think he was asking how many hours that he thinks he should practice English a day.
Let's see if I can find that. I don't know if it's going to let me scroll back or not. I think it won't. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
okay, there it is. Yeah. So Yusuf has a question already. He said, how many hours should I speak every day to become a fluent speaker like you? Yusuf, it's not really that valuable, in my opinion, to try to say a certain number of hours per day. Okay? Obviously, the more you can speak, the better. However, most people don't have an opportunity to speak English that much during their day because they don't live in an English environment. And that's the reason why I tell everybody how important it is to practice thinking in whatever language you are trying to speak. Thinking is the start of all language. So if you really want to become fluent in a language, start by understanding that your mind is a language practice room. Okay? And so you can practice English anytime you want, as much as you want all day, just by changing the language you think in. So if you start thinking 10% of your day in English, that's going to help a lot. 20% next week, 30% the week after that. Okay? The more you can think in English, the better you're going to be. Okay? So the reason why I can usually speak Chinese without thinking too much is because I spend time thinking in Chinese, and that means that it's easy for me to the words are already up here. I don't have to think about them and translate them. I just say them. Okay?
I like that as your mind, as a practice room. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's from music. You know,
Yeah.
All musicians use their mind as a practice room to think about things first. And if you can get it to sound right in your head, then you can make it sound right coming out.
That's right. You've always got time to put things together in your head, and the more you mess around with those things in your mind, the easier it's going to just become fluent and natural to you.
That's exactly right.
Makes sense.
That's exactly right.
You and I talked a little bit about the time. I'm from the Midwest U.S. and I took a little bit of Spanish language when I was growing up, which is not unusual for somebody in the U.S. to take Spanish as a language in maybe middle school or high school, and but I didn't really learn that much. Years later, I got to do some traveling, and I spent a lot of time in South America for about 3 months. And that time I was really excited because I really thought this is a chance to develop my Spanish a little bit. And this is just exactly what happened. Was the thinking about the language was the most valuable. And I found I used my dictionaries and my phrase books, but I found myself just thinking about things a lot in that language, and I was immersed in the culture and people speaking it all the time too. So that was a great opportunity for me to just continue that. But thinking about it, and I told Mark I even had some dreams in Spanish during that period of my life, and unfortunately, that trip ended, and then suddenly my Spanish opportunities kind of went away. But it was a real testament to that fact of the more you do it, the more you use it, the better chance you've got of developing it. And I really learned so much, and I really started to become comfortable speaking that language. And so I knew if I could have had the chance to keep that going, I just would have got better and better.
Right. Well, and the idea is that we all know that immersion, right? They always talk about immersion is the best way to improve your language. But again, if you don't live in a country or a place that has an English environment, then you really can't immerse yourself that way. So you have to figure out another way to immerse yourself. But again, if you just change the language you think in, you can immerse your mind in the language constantly. So it doesn't matter where you live. That's one of the biggest principles I'm trying to teach here is the idea of use it or lose it is only true if you don't know how to think in that language. So let's see. We've got hello, Sanya, hello, and Mathabathe, hello, and Pikes, hello. Isabella, the handsome guy, is my friend Stu. Hello, Rose. Konnichiwa. So let's see. So we've got 38 people here so far. Let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got Lulu and YY in China. Hello. Hello, Tishreen in Turkey. Merhaba. Rose, we got a lot of people in China. Da jia hao, that means hello everyone. So ni hao, right?
Ni hao.
Da jia means everyone. So
okay.
Da jia hao is how they say hello everyone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hello Fluke. Fluke is a long-time watcher of mine. And Mona as well. Let's see if I recognize anyone else here. Hello Jesus. Hello Blue. Hello, Sayonara. Varuna. Hello, Varuna. Can you guys hear us and see us okay? I know the camera angle is not perfect, but we're doing the best we can to try to make things fit. You can hear clearly. Okay, well, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I goosed this microphone up a bit. So the secret of broadcasting, if you didn't know this, is boosting the low end and boosting the compression completely. So your mic is 100% compressed and got the low end boosted a bit.
Okay.
And then I did a similar thing essentially with mine, except I didn't goose the high end because it's already kind of got a bit more mid-high in it.
Okay.
But yeah,
cool.
That's when people say, wow, he's got a radio voice. No, I don't. I just have a microphone that's goosed. Yeah. So.
Look like Canadians. Yeah, well, I am from the Northland. I grew up in Minnesota, which is far north United States as you can get before you get to Canada. So.
Yeah, it's close to Canada. But just to be clear, there is no such thing as a looks like Canadians or looks like Americans.
That's right. Exactly.
Americans come from everywhere. Canadians also come from everywhere. So,
right.
We're white guys. So in that sense, we both look like Americans. But,
right.
I mean, that doesn't mean that everybody who's a white guy is an American.
One of them said that I looked like military.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Somebody said that to
wow.
me too. Yeah, somebody said that to me too, and I thought that was also a strange comment because we're both very far from military.
Couldn't be farther away from military. Maybe clean cut is maybe better.
We're Midwestern boys.
Yes.
We tend to be a little bit more clean cut. Clean cut just means, we don't have a lot of tattoos and,
right.
I used to have long hair, but I don't have long hair anymore. And, so we're a little bit more boring looking.
I had a little bit long hair way back in college, but it was more like a mullet. If do we have to explain what a mullet is?
A mullet? Do you guys know what a mullet is? Do you guys know that it's a hairstyle called the mullet? Do you guys know what that means?
It's a very bad haircut.
M-U-L-L-E-T.
It's a very bad haircut. Yes.
It means short on top and long in the back. Yeah,
She knows.
Mona knows. Yeah,
Yes.
mullet means short hair on top but long hair in the back.
Unfortunately, it's coming back in some regions of the United States, and I hope it's
Yeah.
not popular anywhere else. But
Mona likes it. Mona likes it. Tishreen, the word is mullet. M-U-L-L-E-T. Mullet.
very good trivia word
It's
for
popular
learning.
in Portugal, apparently.
Oh, is that right? Wouldn't have expected that for Portugal.
And there's Ron in Germany. I'm hoping to go visit Ron here at some point in time.
Oh,
Hello, Matteo in Italy.
That sounds good.
So yeah, for me, one of the things I enjoy doing is just scrolling through to see who's talking from where.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello, Haiti. Nice to see you again. Thank you.
And Pikes and how do you say sun?
Sanya, I think.
Sanya.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always, one of the other fun things is trying to figure out how to pronounce names,
Learning
which
names, yes.
I'm okay with, but occasionally I still butcher one,
I'm pretty good at that too. Occasionally things like, I don't meet a lot of people from really foreign countries to me. Like, I don't meet people from Africa or Pakistan very often, but every once in a while, maybe you get in a cab or something and you meet somebody. I met somebody from Africa. It was driving a cab in Minneapolis at the airport, and his name came up on the Uber app, and I asked him. I pronounced it to him and said it, and he looked at me like,
wow, you could say my name.
He said it just right.
That happens. Yeah.
And he was so surprised that I said it just right, because apparently, very few people.
They
So
get butchered a lot.
I'm always proud of myself when I can do that and actually, nail it and pronounce it correctly.
And I think that musicians might have a slightly upper hand on that, because especially
The ear.
Well, that plus if you're anything like me, I mean, I've been listening to musicians from all over the world for a long time, so I've seen a lot of names from a lot of different places. When I was in high school, I listened to the African drummer Babatunde Alantunji. And so that was probably the first big African name that I've ever seen where I was like, oh, okay, that's a cool name. I like that name.
Wow.
And the guys from Paul Simon's band.
Oh yeah.
They're
called.
what are they called? I can't remember.
Oh no. Should know that one. It'll come to us.
Yeah, it will. I'm gonna Google it here.
Doggone it. That's not.
Not Under African Skies. Well, that's actually the name of their band, I think, separately.
Yeah,
but
I know what you're going
Ladysmith
for.
Black Mambazo.
Ah, yes, that's right. Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Yeah, that was sort of America's introduction to African music in general.
For sure. Yeah.
Paul Simon did
That's
a good
right.
job of bringing that to a lot of people.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of Americans probably tried to forget about it as quickly as they could, because it wasn't quite rock and roll, and they didn't know what to think about it. Maybe
I don't know.
That could be wrong. I think a lot of people enjoyed it.
You Can Call Me Al. Even that was a pop tune, but it still had all that African stuff on it.
That's true. It did. Yeah. I still listen to that stuff all the time. I love it.
Yeah, I just saw behind the music about that song, about Paul Simon recording that song, and and the whole band and everything. Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting.
Paul Simon's been coming on a lot and talking, digging into his old material and discussing, how he builds those songs and talking about, meeting the different musicians and how they contributed, and
That's right. Yeah.
very interesting.
There's Gemstone knows Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Sanya wants to know, is music your main job or just a hobby? So for both of us now, it's just a hobby, really. Well, I mean, I still
For me,
can do shows. I just have chosen not to. So if somebody decided to ask me to play, like when I lived in Taiwan, I played shows quite a bit, and I enjoyed that. And if I move overseas again, I'm sure I'll play again. But I don't really want to play here again because I already did that so much for so long, and I just don't really, relish the idea of getting back into the scene.
and the opportunities here for you, I can imagine, just the music that is played and performed in this area.
Right.
I think probably a cover band,
Right.
or a rock band or something.
Right. If I could get a jazz trio going or a quartet or something, I would do that.
Yeah.
Just for fun, not to actually try to make money or be famous or something like that, just to play. Just
There's
for
opportunities
expression.
for you to do that, I would think, if you found the right people that you wanted to perform with.
I put some signals out not too long ago, and it's actually, again, it's a very tight little community, and it's
Right.
It's the same people who do the same gigs for the same thing. So
They don't want to let you in necessarily.
right, yeah, and I need to find some people who are very relaxed about it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to blow Coltrane out of the water.
Right.
I just want to play some music that I enjoy playing and relax and have fun. And that's the only
Yeah.
That's the only downside of jazz is, in my opinion, there's that aspect of jazz that if you're not
Cutting edge.
if you're not cutting edge, then you're not anything.
Yeah.
There's been Wynton Marsalis has gotten crap for that for ages.
Yeah, that's true.
For being more traditional and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not looking to impress anybody. And again,
No.
that's the same
Right.
problem with any rock and roll. You're not supposed to be there to try to impress people. You're supposed to be, playing for the music. They say, right?
I think we both did plenty of that when we were younger.
Right.
When you're a performer, when you're young and ambitious, and you're just trying to show people that you can play well, and that you're somebody that people would be excited to play with. You really are. That's a big thing you're trying to do. You're trying to impress people to a certain extent. Until you mature a little bit, that's kind of the part of your mindset is like, I'm going to really show this guy. I'm going to impress this person.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
that's what Art Gore told me one time. My old drum teacher, he said, if you play a show and a bunch of people come up to you and say, wow, man, you're the greatest drummer I've ever seen in my life, then you probably aren't. Because
you probably overdid it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
He said the way you know that you did your job well is if you look around the room and you see everybody going like this. If you look around and you see everybody doing that when you're playing, then you're doing a good job. But at least as a drummer,
Absolutely.
But anyway, okay, so let's see. Are we musicians? Yes, we are.
Yes.
And you were asking about if I've been to China. I've been to Hong Kong a bunch of times, and I lived in Taiwan for 4 years.
I've never been to China. I've been to Japan, and that is the only Asian country I've been to. I've been to Mediterranean countries.
And Stu used to play music on cruise ships.
Yes, many years ago, when I was performing more on trombone, I played on cruise ships for a couple of years and got to travel a lot and meet a lot of people from a lot of different countries, and that was a great experience. That's a really, for somebody that's in their 20s, that is that's such a big influence on who you are, and really it's such a big opportunity. If you get the opportunity to travel, I always recommend it, because not only are you going to enjoy it, but it just raises your I don't know, of the idea of what it means to be. You're not just an American. You're just
a human being.
An international.
Yeah, that's right.
Person,
yeah,
and people are all alike.
I think it's really
everywhere,
good to get out of the nationalist sense of things.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Anyway, all right. Yeah, I know that the camera angle is not exactly perfect, but we're doing the best we can here. So yeah, hello Odie. This is my good friend Odie. He's awesome. He's from Thailand. Hello Carolina. Good to see you. Yeah, I have the camera about as far back as I can get it to get us both in the picture. So it's not going to be a perfect picture today, but let me see if I can adjust one thing really quickly.
While he's doing that, Sonia, if I'm saying that right, music is not my main job. No, that's more of a hobby for me at this point. I'm actually not performing on the trombone myself right now. I'm interested in some new things. I have a friend who is really very interested in and very accomplished with electronic music. Specifically, more recently, he is very interested in. I'm not even good at describing this, but I believe it's modular synthesizers.
Okay.
So it's analog synthesizers that you can connect with all these different devices, connect them all together.
I have a few friends that do that.
And create different effects with the different modules, and then combine those effects with, between the modules, and keep changing and manipulating sounds to just unlimited degrees. And he actually shared a whole bunch of equipment with me.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Jay Reynolds.
Oh, Jay. I know Jay.
Yeah.
Of course I know Jay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And he
I was
shared,
actually gonna say, is it Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He shared a bunch of stuff that's like, here, I'm not using this, and just gave me like the whole
that's
stuff
awesome.
to bring home with me.
Like,
and so
okay.
I get to start kind of messing around with it just to have fun.
Like Moog stuff or what?
Yeah, well, not a keyboard, but it's like a small what is the base of it is a rhythm, box, but it also has like keys that can actually play notes. So you can kind of use it as a keyboard, and so that's kind of like a basis, and then you can feed that into these modular synthesizers that he gave me, which is crazy. I've never messed around with this stuff at all, so it's pretty interesting to see how that goes. Oh, what do we got here?
This is one of the very first electronic drums of all time.
Oh, wow.
It's
Look
called
at that.
the Sinair 3.
Check it out.
This is Devo. The Devo drums.
No kidding.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, and again,
Wow.
it's an annual. Look, I mean, the whole thing. Check this out.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
9-volt batteries. 2 9-volts. And it just is a 1/4-inch cable, and you've got.
Wow.
So this one can be made into whatever sound you want. You can make it into like the tom-toms that
You
go.
could
ding,
plug
ding,
that
ding,
into the
or-
stuff you have now.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
You can make it into a bass drum like an 808. You can make it into the psh, psh kind of snare drum sound, whatever, just by changing the
that's so cool.
oscillators and whatever,
Man, look at that.
Yeah, I've had this thing for decades.
That is cool, yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Antique electronics.
Antique, that's right, antique electronics. This is one of the very first electronic drums of all time.
How about that?
Yeah, it looks like a UFO.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Anyway, okay, so this is my friend Stu, everybody, and yes, we are in a studio. We're in my studio, but no, we're not going to play any music, I don't think, today.
No performing today?
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
just...
I could, start singing some Sinatra, I guess.
Yeah?
But, I think
yeah.
it would probably scare some people away.
I'll tell you what, though, it happens all the time. People come on and they say, "Can you sing a song for us? Can you sing a song?"
Really?
Yeah, if you have
Okay.
a microphone in front of your face.
they think that you're gonna
Yeah.
perform a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's see. I think it's time for us to get somebody on the stage and talk with some people here. So raise your hand if you want to come talk. Raise your hand and you can come on the stage and talk with us. And if you have questions.
Anybody?
All right, we've got Bach. Except my screen is too big. Hold on, let me fix that. Why is it wrong size? Let's do this. Oh, still. That's weird. All right, let's
There we
get
go.
Bach up here first. And you probably need to put your cans on.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi.
Bach. Good to see you again.
Hello,
How
Mark.
are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Did you remember me?
I do remember you, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a musician too, and I performed in Hello Talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. I don't think I remember that you're a musician though. What do you
Beatboxing.
Oh, that's right, beatboxing. I do remember you now.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I remember you now. Yeah, all right.
I do a little bit of rap too. Yeah.
Okay, right on. That's
Okay.
cool.
Very cool.
And
Yeah.
Bach, remind us, what city are you in?
I lived in Shanghai.
You're in Shanghai now. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Cool. So
Yeah.
what's new? Anything?
Yeah. Just I have improved a lot with my English because I would like to go abroad for master degrees. Go to the London. So I passed. I need to pass the IELTS test. So I learned a lot of English.
That's good. Yeah, so the
great.
IELTS test is
Yeah.
one of the big English tests for, competency and whatever. Yeah, there's the TOEFL test and the IELTS test are the two big international
Okay.
tests. Like, you have to pass that if you want to come to the United States to study or
Okay.
things like that. Yeah.
And you recently passed that test? Is that correct?
No, I
You're
think I
working
just,
on
almost. I have tested for 3 times, and it's a little bit hard for me. Yeah.
I'm sure it's hard. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's
very
really
demanding.
hard.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I tell them all the time that if the average American had to take that test, they would not do well.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's a English England test. It's
Well,
different.
not that it's
Yeah.
because it's British English. No, it's just because native speakers don't think about their language anymore, right? So
Yeah.
the average native person, we're not walking around thinking about past participles or prepositions or verb phrases, or we're not thinking about any of that stuff. So if
Yeah.
you're an English
Yeah.
teacher, maybe, but if you're
Yeah.
not, then if I just walked down the street and picked somebody off the street and had them take the IELTS test, they would miss many questions because but I think it's important for you guys to remember that
Yeah.
language is not supposed to be analyzed, it's supposed to be used for communication. Right? So
Yes.
it's just like music. There are a lot of rules in music too, and we study those rules called music theory. But once you learn those, then you're supposed to kind of ball that up and throw it away,
right.
and not think about it anymore and just play
Yeah.
the music, If you're talking about the music a lot, like, well, I want to use this, this chord and this scale and all this kind of stuff, you're kind of to a point that stuff is really important, but if it seems, I've worked with some people who it seems like the theory is the prime reason why they compose music and not for expression. It's all about trying to use, it's like math for
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
analysis part of it is very interesting to them. And
Yeah.
and yes, there's people that like to speak in that language of theory.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's almost like being a performer, but on the opposite side of music, that they're kind of trying to show off everything they
Right,
knew about
right.
music analysis.
And that's
which is
why
not really
Yeah.
music.
I'm trying to say the same thing about language, that like, you know, if you're thinking about trying to impress someone with your grammar and with your knowledge of grammar rules, then you're missing the point of language in the first place, which is to
Yeah.
communicate and to
Yeah.
express yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? There's things that's so funny that in our test we can't even speak like a human. We need to speak like a machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, and it's also under a time limit, which is really,
Yeah.
everything's under a time limit, and so all of
Oh.
your writing, your reading, your listening, your speaking is all timed.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Okay.
really a pressure situation.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't think I would do well on that test.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, even for the native speakers. Yeah.
That's right. The average person would not do well on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the same thing is true probably for Chinese people too. You know, if I put a Chinese, just took a Chinese person off the street and 20 years after they've been out of school, so they haven't been in school for a long time, and you gave them a Chinese proficiency test, they might not do too well either. They might forget a lot of the rules, because, language is something that we use to communicate and to express ourselves. It's not something we're supposed to be thinking about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
past,
So it's
present
so
tense or-
bothering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So again, I think it's important to remember that you should learn the rules, but you should learn them so that you can forget them.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope I can, speak a French, languages. Like I don't need to care about the systems, about the rules, about anything. Yeah.
Right,
Just a
yeah.
free talk.
Yeah. And again, Buck, you already speak fine. You speak well. And a lot
No,
of
I
people,
think it's
if you came to America tomorrow, you'd be fine. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, that's the other thing that's so funny is to the score that they want you to get on the test is pretty high. And
Yeah. so demanding.
yeah, it's really demanding, but the true level that you really need to do well in America is much lower than that. Much lower than that.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
one thing is very is really funny. And my English teacher tell me that American don't speak English.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a little
well,
bit true.
yeah. So he's British, then I assume.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
He's British.
there is
I
this
see.
thing about the British. The only English is British English. The King's English.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
But
Proper.
yeah,
Proper.
Right. Yeah, but at the same time, bottle of water.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so if you go to England, there are lots of people there who have accents that are not proper accents,
Hard to understand. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
many.
I don't care what kind of English you speak. I care if I can understand you, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't care what accent you have. I don't care where you're from. And this is another thing I teach here all the time is English can be spoken perfectly well with any accent from any place. You do not have to sound like us to sound good.
Yeah, that's right.
When I go to the post office here, there's a girl here who's been living here for a while, and she's Indian, and she has a pretty thick Indian accent, but it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't seem to cause her any problems.
Yeah.
And there are many people with accents here.
Yep. And I think
Yeah.
that if you're American, you're definitely going to have people from all cultures from everywhere. Doesn't matter
Right.
what you do. Doesn't matter where you work. And I think that the people that are better, how do I say this? I think the people that have more experience with different types of communications, have exposure to different languages, they are going to be better understanding people
Yeah.
from other cultures
Yeah.
and understand
That's right, yeah.
their accent and be able to get past it and say, oh, I know what you're saying,
Right.
even though they can detect that little bit of accent.
Right.
It's not prohibitive. It doesn't stop them
Yeah.
from being
Right.
understood.
That's what I keep trying to tell people is that your goal in language should not be perfection of accent. Your goal should be perfection of clarity.
Yeah.
So, if your accent is unclear, that's a problem. That's a problem. But if your accent
Because
is
somebody
clear,
can't understand you.
that's exactly right. But okay, you have a Chinese accent, but it's not a problem because I can understand you completely. So there's no problem. Now, can you continue to work on it and try to make it more clear? Yeah, you can. But the baseline goal should be clarity. You know, perfection is
Yeah.
way up here, and
Yeah.
I think that for some people, I think it's a goal that seems too far out of reach, and so
Yeah.
it frustrates them too much because they think
Yeah.
that their English is not good unless they sound like me. So
Yeah.
but,
And then,
yeah.
you know, the teacher Mark, I appreciate that you have taught me a lot of things. Like the most important lesson is you told me before, and don't care about the mistake. Who cares? Just to talk. You know,
That's right.
Whatever.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
so many people, they're so worried about making mistakes that they never
Yeah.
practice at all. They don't speak because they're afraid to make any mistakes. That's a much, much bigger problem than making some mistakes. If you make some mistakes, people will still probably understand you and you can learn from your mistakes and grow. But if you are so afraid to speak because you want to speak perfectly only
Yeah.
that you never speak at all,
Yep.
then that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, so mistakes are good, not bad. We learn that mistakes are bad in school because school has a limited time to teach you things. And because they have a limited time, they tell you that there are wrong things and right things. But there are no wrong and right things. There are just things that you can learn from.
And get better at.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? But once you're out of school and you don't have that time limit on you anymore, now you just should eventually realize that mistakes are just there to help you get better. You know, so
Yeah.
the only problem is if you continue to make the same mistakes and you never learn from it, then that might be a problem. But you
Yeah,
should just
yeah.
try to focus on them and learn them. Yeah.
Yeah. I still do that.
We
Yeah.
We need to summarize the mistakes and make sure that we don't.
That's right.
do the
That's one of the
mistake.
most
Yeah.
important things about getting better at anything is figuring out what common mistakes do you make. What are the most common mistakes that you make, and how can you try to make a plan to improve them? You know, maybe not eliminate them completely, but to improve them. That's all.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over in YouTube here, let's see. Oh, there's Odie over there now. Oh, Odie, where are you? Are you in YouTube or are you on Hello Talk?
I think I saw
He's
him
back
over here
too. Okay.
Yeah.
Sanya wants to know what kind of impact music has in our lives or had in our lives. Pretty tremendous impact, I would say.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about perfection, and being a musician has if you study music to try to be a professional musician, there is definitely an aspect of always pursuing perfection.
Yeah.
And that has sometimes a difficult carryover to the rest of your life. Because you think that everything you do has to be perfection, which is not realistic.
Right, but it's also one of the reasons why I was able to learn Chinese was because I applied the skills that I had from learning music to learning everything in life, right?
Yeah.
Because musicians are self-learners, right?
Right.
We have
True.
teachers, but we go through periods of you have a teacher and you don't have a teacher. And you have a teacher and you don't have a teacher.
Yep.
And when we don't have a teacher, that doesn't mean we're not learning. We're still learning, but we have to do
Right.
it ourselves. We have to keep
By
pushing
ourselves, yeah.
ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So But I've noticed that not everybody is like that. If you didn't have that experience of being a musician, then a lot of people think that learning only happens when you have a teacher and when you have school.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so they don't have a feeling of being able to teach themselves things. You know.
Yeah, I mean it depends on somebody's ability. If he
Yeah.
gets a strong ability to learn by themselves. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. And we've got my friend Gunter. Gunter's a good friend of mine. Hello, Gunter, in Germany. He's in Berlin. And I saw Belen there, too. Belen, hello. Belen, dear. She's in Madrid. Another good friend of mine here. And again, this is my friend Stu, everybody. He's joining us
Stu.
today.
Hello.
Yeah. So Bach, tell me this, Bach. What kind of performances can you do with beatboxing in China? Do they have beatboxing? I know they have competitions sometimes, but do
Yeah.
they have actual performances?
Yeah, like when I was in college and about just 8 years ago, and I have participated in a lot of beatboxing competition, and I also held a lot of beatboxing competition because beatboxing is a very new thing in that time, and just a few people knew that. So I'm a beginner of beatboxing. So I do a lot of performance in my college, and I
Okay.
saw a lot of great beatboxer from the foreign countries, like American. You have a lot of beatboxers like Napalm, like Kenny Urban, like some beatboxing artists. Yeah. So they just flew to China, and we just exchange our ideas about beatboxing.
Well, that's cool.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds like
it's like
lot
a
of fun.
family, In beatbox group, we just like a family, all of the world. The people.
Community. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
the nice
community.
thing about being a musician is
Yeah,
we can go anywhere in the world. I don't care where it is, and I can find other musicians. And as soon as they know I'm a musician, we're
like this.
We're good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
we're tight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So as soon as I moved to Taiwan, within a few months. It was like they put the word out that I was in town, and all of a sudden, all the musicians knew I was there, and all of the musicians wanted me to come to shows and things like that. So, yeah, being a musician is kind of like being in a giant club, a giant family,
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't matter where I go. I know I can make a connection with people anywhere in the world as soon as I just go and tell them I'm a drummer. You
Yeah,
know?
that's
Yeah.
right.
so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. And there's Miguel. Hello, Miguel. Miguel, this is my friend Stu. He's a musician I used to play with many, many years ago. And he agreed to come join us today and talk with some people here. So I thought he'd get a kick out of it. To get a kick out of something is a way we say to enjoy something. I got a kick out of it. Means I enjoyed it.
Hello, Miguel.
Yeah.
Hello,
Okay.
everyone.
Well, yeah, Bach.
Okay.
Well, good luck to you, and
Yeah.
and I hope that you can keep working with your beatboxing. Which, by the way,
Yes.
beatboxing would also be good for your. I think it's good for your English because
Yeah.
beatboxing.
Because we have a lot of foreign artists, we just communicate with each other a lot of times.
That plus also beatboxing requires you to use a lot of mouth muscle movements.
Yeah.
And so it's good practice. And every language, whatever language you're learning, you need to learn the grammar and you need to learn the vocabulary and the pronunciation.
Pronunciation,
But part
yeah.
of the pronunciation is mouth movements. So if you want to know why you have an accent because you're speaking English, but you're still using some of the movements from Chinese. That's what an
Yeah.
accent is. So when I speak Chinese, I try to make my mouth move differently to sound more like a Chinese person. So you have to change the movements of your mouth. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about is every language has special mouth movements. So I think
Yeah.
beatboxing will just
Yeah.
kind of give you a little bit of an advantage because you have more practice with changing the movements of your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a,
Yeah.
like something
There you
like that.
go. Yeah.
Performance. That's what I was going to see if we're going to have a small beatbox performance here.
Yeah, I was going to ask him to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on, man. Bach, I would also recommend that you do some learning about microphones. Because
microphone.
because a lot of beatboxing comes from the microphone and understanding how microphones work and which microphones are better for certain things. So, for example, this is an SM58 microphone. It's one of the most famous vocal microphones of all time for performance. And it's what we call a dynamic microphone. There are dynamic microphones. There are condenser microphones. There are ribbon microphones. There are plate microphones. There are different kinds of microphones. And then there's something called axis, which means, so this one, if I remember right, is a cardioid pattern. Cardioid means it looks like a heart. Okay? And so that means that the pickup of the microphone is it's a heart shape right out in front of the microphone. So as long as I stay right around here, it sounds good. But if I go over here, then you start losing my voice, and it's not very clear. Because it's not
direction.
picking up. That's right, direction. That's right. So if you start learning a little bit about that, that will help you more to understand how you can use the microphone to make the beatboxing better. Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm not doing the beatboxing anymore. I just want to, learn do a lot of things for my career. Yeah, because I'm a director.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. A director for what?
Advertisement.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, but beatboxing is a good hobby.
Yeah, it's just for fun.
It's my hobby.
Yeah.
It's helped me a lot. Yeah.
That's great.
Good. All right. Well, Bach, it was great to see you again, my friend, and thank you for coming to talk to my buddy Stu.
Nice
Appreciate
to
that.
meet you, Bach.
Thank you, dude.
All right. I'll talk to you next time. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye, bye, Bach.
Have a nice day. Bye.
All right. Hello, Jackson. Good to see you again. That's right. Yeah, there are many different kinds of microphones, everybody, and all of that makes a big difference. There are reasons why that microphone is a lot more expensive than this microphone.
Yeah.
They have a different quality and there's a different sound and they're used for different purposes. So, and there are so many different kinds of microphones.
Yeah, and a microphone like this one is very, very sensitive and very easy to damage. Would you say?
This one, no.
Not so much?
You're right that a lot of broadcast microphones are usually very sensitive, but that one actually is a tank.
It's a pretty tough one. Okay.
Yeah, that one is a tank. This is the RE20 microphone, which it's actually also a good bass drum microphone. So it is usually large diaphragm microphones are usually a condenser. That one's a dynamic mic.
Okay.
So it actually deals with sound pressure really, really well, and you can drop it and you'll probably be okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
don't want to do it a lot.
No, you
maybe.
don't want to do it a lot because it's expensive. But like this microphone, the 58, you can throw these things across the room,
and they get it too.
And they do, right? And nobody will care. It will be fine.
Somebody doing like beatboxing, but you were talking about how somebody doing something like that would be helpful for them to learn about microphone. Where to place yourself on that microphone is also a big deal.
Yeah,
yes.
Proximity. That's right. Yeah.
So somebody like Bach could learn a lot about that.
I can't remember what his name is now. Oh, I used to work with a singer in town who. He was like a microphone genius. He understood the proximity effect of the microphone like nobody had ever seen in my life. How to sing loudly way off the microphone but get that effect, and how to get real close to it and certain things.
Yes.
And he would do like animal sounds and all kinds of crazy stuff, and he knew exactly how to use the microphone. I've never seen anything like it. It was the first time I ever considered microphone technique as a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always appreciate that when I hear a singer like the same way that they go up for a really big, loud note and they know how that they need to back
that's
away
right.
from it a little bit.
Yeah,
if we're doing
pull
something
the mic
very
off.
very
That's right.
soft and gentle, they can move
Get
in
right up on it. Yeah.
very closely. And,
That's right. Yeah. That's another good microphone, Gunter. The Sennheiser MD421. That's one of my favorites. I used to have a couple of those. That's another good one. Who is he, Tatiana? This is my friend Stu. No, he is not a teacher. He's just another native speaker.
Just hanging out today.
Yeah.
Keeping Mark company, keeping you guys company.
All right, would somebody else like to come up on the stage? Anyone else want to raise their hand? Okay, we got a couple people here. Let's see. Let's try how. Oh, I know. I remember Mindy. Let's talk to Mindy. Mindy, you want to come talk to us?
Hi.
Hello, Mindy. How are you?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Mindy is in Vietnam, and I can't remember. Are you in Ho Chi Minh or where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Ho Chi Minh City.
Okay.
I live in Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So now you have like co-host.
Well, today Stu is my co-host. That's right. Yeah, and actually, everybody, next week, starting on Monday, I have another co-host who's going to be joining me, and he actually is an English teacher too. So we'll have two English teachers on the stage. He's not a musician, but he's he's a music lover, and he's a musician, and he's learning Chinese too. So we have a lot in common, and he's going to start doing some live streams with me on Monday and Wednesday. I think we're going to start sometime. Next week we're going to start, but I mean, hopefully it'll be every Monday and Wednesday for a little bit. And Stu might come back and if he's got some time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Mindy, how are you?
Yeah, that's good for it. Yeah, I'm good. That was good news for audience because I'm imagining that I listen to the podcast with the live stream. I can see people.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like a podcast, but you can actually see the people. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, and Mindy's got good English too. I've talked to her a few times, and the funny thing about Vietnamese language, and the thing that I've talked to about many people when I talk to them, their accent is always very short and sharp, right? So when they speak, each word kind of comes out separately, and there's a reason why. It's because the Vietnamese language is monosyllabic. So everything is one small sound.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the reason why when they speak English, it comes out sounding similarly. Yeah, so that's why I tell Mindy, and I've told many, many of my Vietnamese followers to practice singing, because then you connect the words. We naturally connect things when you sing, right?
That makes sense.
So
I think that's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, again, one of those interesting things that you learn when you talk to people from all over the world is I'm a drummer. I pay attention to rhythm.
Yeah.
Right. So when I started hearing the different rhythms of different languages, it was like, why is that different?
Yeah.
And then somebody explained it to me about Vietnamese language, which I don't know Vietnamese at all. I can say xin chào, which is hello in Vietnamese. Xin chào.
That's good.
But yeah, that's what they explained to me, was that it has many tones, but everything is single syllables. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a good advice for me to practice the ending sound, because Vietnamese word didn't have the ending sound, so that's why I missed a lot.
That's right. Yeah, Chinese people and Vietnamese people both. It's slightly almost the same kind of mistake they make, which is that when they read things, especially when they read things, they'll read the front part of the word, but then they leave off the end part of the word. Oh yeah, that's all right. It's okay. And yeah, that's a very common problem for many people to have. So I tell them to when they're reading or when they're trying to speak, focus on the end of the words. Yeah, to make sure you get the full clarity of the full word. Yeah. So Mindy,
Yeah, I'm trying to improve it.
how is life in Vietnam right now? Is it really hot there?
No, it's kind of like the rainy season is
Rainy
coming
season.
up. So,
Okay.
so it will rain. It's expected, like, so you don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So you start in the morning, it's really hot, but in the afternoon, it's rain.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
rain.
Raining every
Yeah,
day.
it's-
Yeah.
And people, they say it's like the character of a young lady.
It's the what of young ladies?
Yeah, the character, like
character.
Character of young
personality.
ladies. Oh, okay.
And
That's
they just, like,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
that's an interesting way to put it. I've never heard that before. The temper of a lady. Sure. All right. Okay.
I'm changing word by word in Vietnamese to English, so that's why.
No. That's okay. That's interesting. So
Yeah.
that's a Vietnamese phrase, they say.
That's very interesting.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right.
I like what you said about singing, as far as talking about somebody from Vietnam learning English. In music, one of the words they talk about is they say phrasing.
Phrasing. That's exactly right. Yeah.
A singer focuses a lot on phrasing. They have the beginning of one short line in a song there's notes that go along with that line of words in a song.
Right.
So that line, the music part, is called a phrase.
Right.
Usually.
Yeah.
And a good example of that. Do you know who Frank Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra. Do you know Frank Sinatra? He's a famous American singer. He sang.
Let me search him.
Yes.
Yeah. Take a look. He sang New York, New York, and he sang.
What's
Start spreading the news. What is
Fly
that?
Me to the Moon.
Fly me to the moon.
I know
You
this
know
song.
that? Yeah.
Yes, okay,
Right.
that's Frank Sinatra.
Fly among the stars.
That's
This song-
right. Yeah, and that's
Under My
phrasing.
Skin.
Yeah.
Ricky's talking
There's
about
yeah,
Under My
Ricky's
Skin.
got it under my skin. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a good example. Fly Me to the Moon is a good one to hear how certain words have to go together. If he said fly me to the moon, that would be weird, right?
Yeah.
Like he has to put the moon has to go together with it, right? Yeah, I did it my way, right? There's another one, right?
Yeah.
Strangers in the night, right? Exchanging glances, right? And again, that's a good way to think about, because language has phrasing too.
Yes.
You know, audiobooks. I recommend my students to listen to audiobooks.
That's an
because
excellent
then you can
way.
hear a native speaker reading the words, and they'll show you which words are supposed to go together and which words don't.
Yeah, I think that's excellent advice. I know I remember somebody, I don't remember, somebody came on a talk show that was not a native English speaker, and they said that they learned English just by watching Friends. Were you and I talking about that?
Yeah, and Friends is the number
Yeah.
one show in the world for
Is that
learning
right?
English.
For learning, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it still is.
Wow.
And it makes sense because, again, the content. It's
Yeah.
the content. They talk about friends, they talk about family, they talk about work, they
Yeah.
talk about common everyday things.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it so many times. Cannot count.
Is
But
that right?
one thing I remember,
Okay.
you when I asked you a question about, because I use English daily in my work, and you recommend me not watching Friends so much because it's a casual conversation.
That's right. It's
You have to
casual.
learn like proper English. You have to learn a proper
That's right.
English.
Yeah. So Friends is great for learning casual, common English. But yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to learn for work, then yeah, you probably need to elevate your English a little bit. You need to think about using a little bit of a higher level of English, you know. That's when it's good to watch or listen to podcasts or watch interviews. You know, if you can watch online interviews with, those are usually more elevated language, you know, usually.
That makes sense.
Thank
Makes
you.
sense.
You know, one of my favorite
Maybe
new
Suit.
one of my favorite new
You know
podcasts
Suits?
is Suits. Suits. Oh no, yeah, that
Suits.
is a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, Suits is a good
Yeah.
one. It's a show about lawyers.
Yes, I
right.
know- I
and
know
so
the show.
again,
Okay.
yeah, that one, I'd say it's kind of half and half.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're using lawyerly language, you know, legal language, which is very elevated, you know.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's kind of a
Casual.
drama, you
Yeah.
know, where they're just using more casual language.
Yes. A
Yeah.
little bit. Mix. A mix. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right.
I can see that
And
being a
I'm
good show.
sorry for interrupting
No,
you,
and
but
no.
you was about to talk about your podcast. Please continue.
Yeah. Well, no, I was going to say podcasts are great because if you watch podcasts or watch interviews with people, one of my favorite new ones is one called, is it Hot Ones? Yeah, it's Hot Ones. It's called Hot Ones. It's a really interesting podcast or interview show. It's this one guy who he'll choose a famous celebrity and he asks them questions, but in between each question, they take a bite of a chicken wing with hot sauce on it.
Oh.
And each question he asks, the hot sauces get hotter and hotter and hotter until they are the hottest hot sauces that we have.
I know that's true.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
really great show. It's such a great idea.
Why is it a great show?
Because
Tell
I'll
me.
tell you why. When you start eating the hot, spicy food, your body has a physical reaction to it, which distracts you, and you're so focused on the way your body feels that he'll ask you questions, and now you're broken down. You're past the barriers, so it actually makes them connect much better. Honestly, he's a brilliant interviewer.
That is very interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And then it's just funny, you know. I mean,
Sure,
it's
yeah.
you know, to
Because they're
see people
sweating
actually,
and-
to see
yes,
them
sweat.
sweating. They're sweating because it's so hot, you know.
Yes.
Especially Americans, because you know, some of us like spicy food. I
Yeah.
love spicy food, and I can eat pretty spicy food.
Yeah.
But many
Americans
cannot really eat that spicy.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
So yeah, they have. I think it's maybe 10 or 12 bottles of hot sauce.
Wow.
Right? And the first one is not too hot. It's just a normal mild spice. But the last one is crazy hot. Really,
explosion
really
hot.
Yeah. Like can kill you hot. Right. And
You can burn anytime.
That's-
hot
that's-
until you burn anytime.
You need to jump into the ocean.
that's right, yeah.
Hot,
And so when they eat that, you know, they're scared. I mean, you can see that some of them
Yeah.
are literally afraid. Like, did I agree to do this? You know, it was hot 3 sauces ago, and now
Yeah.
I have to do this one. You know,
Yeah.
but
my
again,
gosh.
they continue to try to do it, and they want to make it to the end, so they push themselves.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Or they've gone this far, they might as well keep
That's
going.
right. That's
How
exactly
much worse
right.
could it
yeah.
be? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the episodes are just hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it really is quite good.
I've
yeah.
chimed in. I think I've seen some just on Instagram or something of people, you know, just getting hotter and hotter and sweating
Yeah.
and you know, crying maybe.
Yes,
because
that's
they're
exactly
so-
right. Yeah, yeah, and they always keep milk nearby to drink and everything. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Hot Ones is a pretty funny show to watch, and he's a really great interviewer. You know, so
Yeah, thank you. I'm
asks
definitely
about-
check it out.
yeah,
Hot,
definitely do Hot Ones.
hot ones.
Yeah,
Hot Ones.
Yeah. Hot ones.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out myself.
Yeah, it really is
Very interesting.
much better than I thought it would be. The first one I thought it was just a gimmick, but
Yeah.
but no, it actually is. Psychologically, it makes a lot of sense that
How it opens you up. You
right,
say.
the
Yeah.
physical breaking down of your body in front of you on camera.
Yeah. Huh,
you
that
know,
is so interesting.
opens you up to the questions more than you would expect.
That is very
And then
interesting.
there's the challenge factor. You know,
Yeah.
people, so many people have finished, so everybody wants to. Nobody wants to be the one person who couldn't make it to the end. You
Yeah.
know, so they push themselves really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, hot ones. It's a good one. But any kind of interview show, you know, those are good because usually they have to elevate their language a little bit. You know, but some of them might speak a bit fast. The Hot Ones show, I think he speaks very clearly and not too fast.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I can understand.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you
Let
will.
me
I
check.
think you will. I think you will. And they have so many famous celebrities. You know, he interviews famous celebrities. So you'll probably know some of the movie stars and singers and things like that. Yeah. So
Yeah, I hope so.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, Mindy, it was really great to see you again and talk to you again. And I always like to see her smile. She's got such a great smile.
You have a great smile. Nice to meet you,
Thank you.
Mindy.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
great.
nice to meet you. May I know your name?
Stu. His name
Yes.
is Stu.
It's
Stu.
my
Yeah.
my whole name is Stuart,
Yeah.
but my short name is Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stu.
STU.
S
Like
T
S
U.
T E W.
No, that's
It sounds like
it sounds the
STEW.
same, but it's
Yeah.
actually
Sorry.
that's
No, it's
okay.
okay.
STU.
STU. Yeah.
Yeah, STUART is the full spelling.
Yes.
Stuart.
It's unusual
Oh,
even for American names these days.
Yeah, it's not
you
a very
don't
common
you don't see
name.
it very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mindy, for coming on my
Thank
stage
you
again.
for bringing me here.
Yeah, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Great night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's always, interesting also because it is 11:14 here. So in Vietnam, it's like 12 maybe. Yeah.
Midnight?
Midnight, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so it's always interesting to see who's like up late.
Up late and
Yeah.
who's drinking. And,
Yeah,
and so
Especially
forth like that.
Japan too. You know, it's even later there than here. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like either 12 or 1.
Oh, my
depending
goodness.
on where you live. Yeah.
You'll see
So-
Sania's comment here.
Yes, and yeah, hello. Let's see. I heard that drunken people can speak any foreign language. Well, no, that's not true. But there have been a few studies that do show that if you have a couple of drinks,
Yeah.
not drunk, but if you have a few drinks, you will speak whatever language you're trying to speak. If you know Spanish, if you're an English speaker but you know Spanish, if you have a couple of drinks, you'll probably speak Spanish better because you're more relaxed.
You're ready to just let it.
Yeah, you just speak.
You
You
let it
don't.
out,
You're
yeah.
not nervous. That's
Yeah.
the only reason why. It's what
Yeah.
musicians do too. You know,
Yeah.
we call it liquid courage.
Yes.
That's what we call it.
Very true.
Sometimes we call alcohol liquid courage because if you're nervous before you go on stage to perform in front of people, and so maybe you have a drink to try to help you just
Loosen
relax and
things up.
loosen up
Yeah,
and
that's
not
right.
think so much. And so there have been a few studies that have shown that yes, if you have just a couple of drinks, not drunk, but just 1 or 2 drinks, it will relax your mind and you'll stop being so shy and nervous. And then you'll probably speak better. There is a truth to that.
I remember a time when it was a friend of mine. It was his bachelor party, so there was a little bit, maybe too much drinking going
Yeah.
on. So I mean, if you're gonna drink, that's when you drink, is at a bachelor party. So anyway, I remember I had several drinks, and all these people were musicians, and people started pulling out drums and hitting on drums, and before I knew it, I was singing and making up lyrics and singing along with this made up song on the spot, making up an entire song, and I was the lead singer of this improvised group. and I've never done anything like that before. And that was Liquid Courage, friends.
Yeah, my rock band, the first rock band that I was in, which I'm still in actually. Our singer, he's very good, but he does get nervous on stage. And the first few shows we played, he sang with his back to the audience. He was looking at us because he was just too nervous, right?
Oh, wow.
And so then, and he was not a drinker. He did not drink, but he started. He started because he was so nervous on stage, and then once he had a couple of drinks, then he was just
Relaxed.
forgetting about the people, and
Having
he was
fun,
and he was just singing,
enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I'm not encouraging anybody to be drunk or anything, but I'm just saying that there are some real studies that have been done that do prove that theory, that if you have a couple of drinks, it will relax you. Now, why is this important? Because I told you, that's why I call everybody language warriors, because to be a warrior, you can't be shy. There's no shyness in a battle. You have to be a fighter, right? And so you have to fight your fear. It's the number one thing. Language is a battle, and I also say language is a performance. And again, to be a good performer, you have to be relaxed.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
I wouldn't encourage you to drink just to speak well, but I just would encourage you to understand why that happens. So, what are the alternatives of drinking? Learning how to relax more.
Yeah.
Getting more self-confidence, some singers, they don't need any alcohol to sing. They're super confident.
It's just their personality.
Right.
Yeah. If they're a confident person, then it just comes out. Yeah.
And that's when I tell people that if you're not confident in yourself, if you don't have self-confidence, then you need to figure out how to get that. And in my opinion, the way you get self-confidence is by accomplishing things, right? So get a plan in your mind. I want to do this thing. And then make a plan to do it and do that thing.
Yep,
and
figure out how to do it.
That's right.
Yep.
And if you do it, then you'll get pride. And that pride will give you energy. And then you can go use that energy to do more things. And that pride will give you more energy to do more things. And it's the pride-confidence connection that I like to try to remind people that shy people, in my opinion, usually they're shy because they are afraid and they don't have self-confidence.
Yes, they don't believe in themselves.
Right.
That's
right. One of the best things I heard in the last few years was somebody saying that when you pay to see a live performance, like a live band or a singer, you're paying to see somebody who believes in themselves.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get somebody else on stage here. One moment. Lillian's there. Yeah,
confident.
Lillian is another long-term watcher. Let's get Lillian up here to talk to me.
She's confident, folks.
She is very confident. Lillian, I love Lillian. You'll see why.
She believes in herself.
She does believe in herself. Lillian, come talk to us.
She's on her way, I believe.
Lillian, did you answer it? Let's try again. Come on, Lillian.
Maybe you need a drum roll.
Yeah, right. We're waiting. Lillian, are you there?
Hello, Lillian.
Yeah, sometimes I do the earth to Lillian. There she is.
Ah.
There she is. Hello, Lillian. How are you?
Oh,
That's okay. She turned the camera off. She's
Okay.
a little
Hello,
shy.
Teacher Mark.
That's okay.
Okay.
How are you, Lillian?
hello.
Uh-oh, the connection might not be very good today.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go. Now I hear you.
Now I can hear you. Yeah, there we go. Hello, Lillian.
Hi.
How are you today? Oh, there we go.
Not so bad.
Not so bad?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, what's new?
Actually, I will be the holiday very soon.
You're going on holiday very soon?
Oh.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah. On the next Monday.
Okay, and where will you go?
maybe just stay at home
Just stay
to
at
listening
home.
some music,
Okay.
Okay.
kind of something.
Do you
Yeah.
know what we call that? We call that a staycation.
Yeah, staycation.
Yeah,
Staycation.
staycation. So
You
it's not
familiar, huh?
it's not a vacation. Vacation means you're going someplace.
Right, you're
but a
flying
staycation means you're staying at
Oh,
home
stay
and
at
just
home.
relaxing. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
staycation.
I
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
I see.
Staycations are nice because
Yeah.
you have everything that you need, and all your stuff is here.
That's right.
We say,
Yeah, and
and then all you have to do is focus on relaxing.
that's right. Sometimes when you travel someplace new, there's a stress because you're in a hotel room and it's not comfortable, and
It's not your
it's
environment.
not your environment.
That's
right.
right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice to get away to a new environment,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it's better to just be comfortable at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. That
Yeah.
sounds nice. So how many days will you be on vacation?
3 months.
3
until
months.
September.
3 months?
Wow, 3 months. That's a long time.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe you can go someplace for a little bit.
Yeah.
Go to a mountain or
Maybe.
something.
Maybe I will hang out with friends, or maybe just stay at home to listening to Western music.
Okay.
That sounds good.
What music will you listen to, Lillian?
Westlife.
Westlife. She loves Westlife. You know
Taylor
that band?
Swift,
I don't have to look
Backstreet
that
Boys.
up. Okay.
Charlie Puth,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
She loves-
Lenka, yeah,
she,
Lenka.
she loves the Western bands.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
Yeah.
there must be some places where you can. Do you drive? Do you have a car?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have places that you can get in the car and maybe just go just for the day? That is sort of a beautiful place.
You know
just
what's
to-
true is actually in China, some people drive to go on vacation, but the thing that they have that we don't have, they have trains that go everywhere.
Oh yeah, you can just get in a train. Yeah.
So Teacher March, I have a source for you.
You have a song for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
let's hear it.
You want to sing?
yeah.
Okay.
That is the
Oh.
English
Okay.
one,
Okay.
Please.
and that's my favorite.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it, Lillian.
Okay, I am just little bit towards in the middle's life is a mate, and love is a little. I don't know how to do, can do it alone. I'm fine, but I don't know why. I'm just little bit towards in the moment. I'm so still, but I don't show it. I cannot think it out. It's bringing me down. I know I've got to let it go. And just enjoy the show.
And just enjoy
do
the show.
recognize
The
it.
show.
Okay, yes.
Ah, okay. Alina recognized that one.
I recognize
Yeah.
it, but I can't name the artist. But
Me neither. Yeah. Who is
What's-
that? Who is that by?
who's the artist, the singer?
Denta.
Denka. Who is that? I don't know that one.
Oh, Denka. How do you spell that?
Yeah, Denta.
How do you spell that?
L-E-A.
L-E-A.
K-A.
Lika.
Ah,
Yeah.
Ah, Lenka.
I think in
Lenka.
some-
Lenka.
Ah,
Ah, okay.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah, thank you for singing for us, Lillian.
It's our first singer of the day, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, see, no,
Yeah.
Lillian, she's been watching me for a long time, and I always like to get her on my stage because Lillian is confident. She's not afraid to talk, and she's not afraid to sing. And
That's good.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of people can learn from her because so many people are afraid to raise their hand and come talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got confidence, which is really wonderful.
Yes, you're setting a very good example,
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes. Get up on that stage and sing, girl.
Yeah, you should get a band together, Lillian.
Yeah.
So, Lillian, do you have any questions for my friend Stu?
No. No, maybe not. You can tell my story to school, and
Okay.
so many my study story for learning English. Too much.
I can tell your story. Well, I can tell that you've been learning English for a long time, and that you've been really, really working on it. And she's really, really, she loves English. She's been studying English for a long time. She's been watching me for a few years, and she's always really happy to raise her hand and come on stage and talk to me. Sometimes I'm a
good.
little too busy. I have too many people to talk to, and I don't get a chance to talk to her. But I always like to just bring her up and get her up here whenever I can, though.
Very good guest.
And she, again, Lillian, it's late there right now. What time is it there? 12:30 or 11:30?
11:30.
11:30.
11:30, okay.
Yeah. So, Lillian, what will you do tomorrow?
Today at home.
You're gonna go home?
Go home.
I mean, today at home.
Stay at home. Stay at home.
Stay at
Okay.
home. Okay.
So, what will you do at home for fun? Will you watch some TV? Watch some movies?
Drink some coffee or tea.
Maybe watch some movie
Okay.
and fetch my daughter.
Yeah.
And read your book? Okay. All right. Good. Very
that sounds
good.
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice and relaxing.
Yeah. That's right.
Good.
Well, Lillian, it was really good to see you again. It was really great to talk to you again. I'm always happy to see you.
Me too.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
So I'll see you next time then, okay?
Okay. See you
All
next
right.
time.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All
good
right.
guest.
Yeah, I like
a
Lillian.
good
She's got
guest,
such
yeah.
a good heart, you know.
Yeah. But I think that's so important. Like the confidence.
Yeah.
And finding ways to build that confidence. I think that if you're just, I'm picturing anyway. I'm not an expert like you are, but I'm picturing in language. If that's what you're focusing on, trying to focus on just a few words, a few phrases, and really just try to get that working as best you can at the highest level, at the smoothest level, and maybe being able to share it with people and show them that you've learned this, and bounce it off of other people that are learning.
Right.
I'm sure that's got to be very helpful to build your
Right,
confidence.
and again, that's why I said I think that being a musician, I think we have an advantage because we are used to looking at small bits of sound and trying to figure out how to perfect them.
Yeah.
And language is something that we all take for granted. So most people, they do not really listen to themselves. They do
Right.
not pay attention to their phrasing or their speed or their volume or their diction.
Yeah.
They just words come here and they come out and they don't consider them or how they could make them better.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're a musician, if you're a professional musician, then you learn the idea of focused sound. That you need to really look at this and figure out, why does this saxophone player sound better than me? What is it about his playing that's different than mine? How can I make this better? Do I need to learn how to play faster with more relaxation? Do I need to work on my dynamics or my volume or my phrasing? All those things that we consider. We're already used to analyzing sound in a much more finite, smaller way than most people do.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
that's why I try to encourage people to understand that. What does Duke Ellington say about it? Duke Ellington has a quote about it. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm interested to hear this. I always like a good Duke Ellington quote.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. Oh, the most important thing I look for in a musician is whether he knows how to listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because listening is you can't make great music if you don't start by listening.
Yeah.
And actually, the truth is, I didn't know that when I was younger.
I don't think I did either.
I think
no.
most musicians were focused on us. Were
Themselves.
How can I make some sounds that people will listen to hear me,
Yeah.
right? But then it took me 15 or 20 years before I realized that first you have to understand. It's kind of like someone drew a beautiful picture. And you have to look at the picture to figure out how you can fit in that picture, not just put
Yeah.
something random there.
Yeah.
If it's a picture of fruit, then you shouldn't put a giant angry wolf there.
Yeah.
You gotta match the picture somehow
I see
and
what
figure
you're
out how
saying.
you fit into that picture.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And so listening is
Interesting.
such an important part.
I think
Yeah.
that made me think of how traveling into a country that besides your own, where they speak a different language, that is a really big help to you too. But that's another way that your ear is going to just start automatically focusing more on the sounds that coming from people that speak so differently than you. You're gonna start. You're just gonna focus more on the way they speak, but you're also going to find yourself listening to yourself more.
Yeah.
Because in a place where they don't speak English and you're trying to be understood by those people, you become extra aware of the necessity and importance to speak clearly.
That's right.
In those situations, you have
Yeah.
to speak your English as clearly as you can, because that's not their language.
And again, though, that what I've found is that language around the world is something that we all take for granted. We don't think about it very much when we communicate with others, because especially we're used to communicating with other natives. And when we speak with other natives, everything is turned off. We don't consider
Yes.
anything.
Right.
But that's why it's so important to get practice speaking with people from other places, because then you should reconsider all of your the aspects of language. Am I speaking too fast? Am I speaking unclearly? Is my accent hard to understand?
Yep.
All of these things.
Yes.
And again, the same thing happened when I was in Taiwan. There were some people who spoke Chinese and I could understand them perfectly. And then there were some people who I really struggled. And
Yeah.
it was because, again, language all over the world, no matter what language you speak, because it's something so common that we just do all the time, we're not very careful about it. We
It's
don't
very
think about
personal.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has their own idea of, they've developed their own concept of the way they speak, and they don't think about it in the way they speak. There's no need for them most of the time to think about, the way that they're talking.
That's right. Yeah. So, when I'm here, I do speak a little differently than when I'm just by myself with my friends, because, I'm trying to be more clear.
Yep.
So I focus
Absolutely.
my diction more. I slow down a little bit more. I try not to use too many big words or phrasal verbs or idioms that I think people won't understand, or I'll take the time to explain them.
Yep. Yeah, that's very good.
So yeah,
In business, they call that jargon.
that's right. Yeah,
Yes,
that's right. Jargon.
Jargon, it means the terms that are specific to maybe a specific industry or
that's right,
specific business. But in any case, that made me think of you were talking about understanding some people in Chinese and not in other people in China. You can't understand them as well. That happened to me when I was in South America. I started to learn more and more the longer I was in South American countries. And then I got to a place like Puerto Rico, and they speak very, very fast Spanish in Puerto Rican,
Right, yeah.
and it just goes right over your
Right,
head.
yeah,
And
right.
you can't even grab a small portion of what they're
Yeah, yeah.
saying, and so it's a very different thing. So, and you have to actually ask them, would you mind speaking a little more slowly.
Oh, that's
Just-
interesting. Gunter said jargon is the same word in German.
Oh, okay.
Now that makes me wonder where that word comes from. I'm going to find out very
Jargon.
quickly.
Yeah. Interesting.
Jargon.
Spanglish.
It comes from
Yeah.
Latin. Oh wow, how interesting.
Okay.
In Latin, it means the idle talk of thieves.
Oh, like inside.
Yeah, inside in like,
language.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, like when we use the word, the mark as a thief, that means a completely different thing. That's industry term, right?
I'll be darned. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Huh. That's a good word, everybody. Jargon.
In Old French, it means the chattering of birds. And then in Latin, it means idle talk or thieves talk.
Thieves talk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of
Interesting.
it's jargon in that sense. Could be people speaking in a language they don't want other people to understand. Maybe.
Right. Or it's language that you speak with your closest friends, and you're speaking with them all the time. So maybe you have special ways of speaking with each other that,
Yes.
that other people wouldn't understand.
Yes, things that you've developed just
Yeah.
between the two of you. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Interesting.
So Gunter, why can't you turn your camera? Well, one, that's actually HelloTalk changed the camera settings. So now the only view I have is the view that you have now. It used to be that they could turn their phone to landscape and then they'd see the wide view. But HelloTalk changed that, and now there's just one view. So, yeah, that's the best I can get is what we've got right now. I'm going to try to play with the camera maybe for next time and see if I can get a better view, maybe a little bit further back. All right, let's see. Do I have another guest for my live broadcast tonight? Oh, you mean tonight that's in China tonight. So, not two guests. I have one guest. I'm the host, and he's my guest, a lady. And hello, Tomas. Tomas is my other good friend in Rome, who I'm hoping to go visit sometime soon. Tomas, this is my friend Stu.
Hello,
He's
Tomas.
a musician I used to play with many, many years ago.
Good to have you, Tomas. And where? What country?
He lives in Rome.
Rome. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, and you're
we're
gonna go
outside of
my
Rome.
goodness.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great trip.
Yeah, and Gunter says jargon in German is used to express bad language.
Bad language.
Well,
huh.
that's interesting. Yeah.
I can kind of understand that because in business, sometimes jargon is okay, but if you're speaking with somebody from another company, maybe you're trying to make a deal, you have to stay away from jargon because they may not understand it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to do a little bit more research and to see why jargon would be.
Considered bad.
Yeah, right.
I can see like doing a whole study on that word.
Slang is often bad, but jargon in English is usually just specific terms to certain industries, right? So, for example, that song has a great groove.
Yeah.
Groove is a word that we understand,
Right.
but the average person may not know what we really mean when
Yes.
we say the word groove as a musician.
Yeah, musicians say the word groove,
Yeah.
and we know what it means, but
Right.
we might have to explain to you.
Yeah, or
what it
if I
means.
said, "Hey, that song is a real banger,"
Right.
again,
Yeah.
those are slang jargon terms that are specific to a certain industry. So I think
Yeah.
jargon is somewhat like slang, and sometimes it's the same as slang, but it's just in a specific industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking, what is the topic we're discussing? We're kind of all over the
Yeah,
place
we're
here.
discussing anything, Aaliyah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, Aaliyah?
A lady says, 喜欢听你们说的英文. It means she likes listening to us speak English.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's talk to Ricky. Ricky's been waiting for a little while. Hello, Ricky. How are are you, my friend?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yes. How are you, Ricky? Can you hear me?
I feel. Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I feel pretty good today.
Good.
Good. Good.
That's good.
And Ricky, remind us, where are you? Where in China are you? What city?
I'm in Guangzhou actually.
In Guangzhou. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, yeah. I like it when you're talking about music because I'm a concert goer. I often go to the concert.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
All right.
and I like all kind of music, especially jazz music, R&B, and rock and roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jazz music, R&B, and rock and roll. Okay. Do you have any
Okay.
favorites?
Yes, in fact, for those instruments, I like trumpet. And
trumpet?
I like
Trumpet.
this guy. Yeah.
Oh,
I like this
yes.
Who
guy.
is that?
Chris
That's
Bobby.
Chris Body.
Oh, Chris
Have you
Body.
heard?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent player. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah. I didn't
Yes,
recognize him, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, I like Radiohead and
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
those Coldplay.
Coldplay.
Coldplay,
All
okay.
right. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
got that's a wide
Yeah.
range.
Yeah, and plus he likes jazz too.
Yeah,
I
that's
went
right.
to in
Yeah.
Hong Kong, but sadly I have no money to get there because
Oh,
back
no.
when I was still a student.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have you gone to any good concerts and seen any good live music recently?
Yes, it's the Chris Botti concert.
Okay.
It happened in the March, and I
Okay.
even get an autograph
Oh,
from
autograph.
him.
Oh,
And
wow,
I
look at
took
you.
a photo
Good,
with him.
That's great.
I
That's
took
cool.
a photo at a stage door with him, and yeah, I think that it was amazing because it seems like I started listening to his music at the age of 18. Now I turned 30, so I had waited for that moment for almost a decade.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. That's
I-
good for you.
I know that feeling. There's a guitar player. His name is oh my, gonna forget his name here. John Scofield is his
Oh, I
name.
love John Scofield.
He's a very excellent guitarist, John Scofield, and he always has the best musicians that he plays with, and so he's made many albums and CDs. And I listened to some years and years. I've listened to his music, and I finally got to see him live just about maybe 5 years ago.
Wow.
And it was just him and Joe Lovano on saxophone.
Nice.
And
Wow. Oh.
so I think it was maybe even what's his name? Last name is Stewart.
Yeah.
The drummer.
Oh, Bill Stewart.
Bill Stewart.
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
Oh, man.
Oh, that dude is so good.
So
Wow.
it was the best band, and so same like you were saying. I waited so many years to see this man perform live, and it was just like a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see him play,
Yeah.
and so what was when you were watching Chris Body play? What was it like for you? What were you thinking about? What made you say? What was most interesting that you learned when you were listening to his music?
Yeah. At first, I want to I want to remember every moment of this life, but I give up because I want to enjoy the show, and so
Yeah.
I just listen to him carefully, and
Yeah.
it was funny because he liked to have some talking with the audience, and he even walked down the stage and shake hands with those concert goers and his fans.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Yeah. And John Scofield actually has still one of my favorite records of all time is A Go-Go.
Oh, I love that album. Yeah.
That is such a great record.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
There's a record called A Go-Go, Agogo, and it has another. There's a group called Martin Medeski and Wood.
Yeah.
On that one.
Oh, boy.
And yeah. Oh, I
Those
mean,
guys are amazing.
Man, putting the two of those together, those two things together.
They really-
wow,
they're
man,
perfect for each other.
Yeah, it melted
Yeah.
so well together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear a really great record, that I can't imagine anyone not liking that record. I really can't.
Yeah, because it's kind of like
It's groovy.
groovy and it's
you
jazz
know,
and
yeah.
it's pop and rock.
Right,
and,
exactly.
You know, everything.
Yeah, it's such a great, and especially because you said you like Radiohead too. It has some moody. There's some moody things on there
Yeah.
too that are kind of like a Radiohead kind of a feel.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah, check out John Scofield A Go Go. It's such a great
Yeah.
record.
John
Yeah.
Scofield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like Sting.
Sting.
And
I
this
love
is the
Sting.
CD I
Oh.
bought in Hong Kong.
Okay. Yeah.
You got to see him? You got to see him perform live
And
in a concert?
no,
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 not
he
yet.
was to in Hong Kong 8 years ago. But
Okay.
back then I was still student. I didn't
Very,
have the
a lot of money.
to
yeah, it's
see.
Very
expensive to
expensive,
see
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Everything's expensive
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, but Sting, one of the reasons I love Sting is because his band is always jazz guys.
Yeah, always the
Yeah,
best musicians.
He has
yeah.
the highest level jazz
Yeah.
players when he plays, you know.
Incredible drummers, pianoists,
Yeah.
and those-
Always the best. Yeah, Vinny Colaiuta is one of my favorite,
yeah.
and he's been working with him for years. I mean, he's used many great drummers, but Omar Hakim and Vinny
Omar Hakim,
Colaiuta,
yep.
Manu Katché,
Yeah.
all
Oh
of them are
yeah,
amazing.
my friend always like
Yeah,
drooled
I went
about
to
Manu
Matthew-
Katché.
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So that's one reason I always admired Sting, because as a solo musician, he knew he wanted the best musicians in his bands, and he hired all these jazz guys to play, and it was really unique at the time, you know,
Yeah,
to
that's-
play pop music, but to have jazz musicians do it it elevated the music.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. There was much more interaction in the performance, and because people were listening
Branford
to each other.
Marsalis was even on
Oh yeah,
what was that on 10 Summoners Tales? Yeah.
and on his very first one.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Dream-
Nothing like the song.
Nothing Like the Sun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
And well, I know what you mean, Ricky, when you were talking about listening and you wanted to remember every moment. You said, and I know that feeling when you're listening to something that is so amazing, and you're like, I don't want to forget anything because it's all so good.
Yeah.
But then you learn very quickly that you have to just relax and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of Buddhist mindset to music where, you know, a beautiful thing is going to happen, and you want to capture it. You
Yeah.
want to hold on to it, but you can't. You just have to let it go.
Yep.
And you have to just
Very good.
listen and be there and experience it, and don't think too much. Just experience it and, you know, be with it. You know.
Let it be more of a heart experience
That's
and
right.
less of a mind experience.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess my time has run out, so I have
okay.
to
All right, Ricky.
get off the stage now.
Okay, well, it was nice to talk to you,
Nice to
Ricky.
talk to you,
yeah,
Ricky.
Thank you for coming on the stage and talking to Stu and I. So I'll see you
Yeah.
next time then, okay?
Nice to
Okay.
meet you. Bye.
All right, take care, my friend. Okay, let me answer some questions here in the comments here, and then we'll probably wrap things up here. Bellin, goodbye, and Gunter, goodbye. Thanks for coming again. Hello, Dana. And let's see. Can I sing for you?
I'm gonna do some singing now.
Again, I told you, you know.
I've got you under my skin.
He's a better singer than I am.
I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. Oh, I've got you under my skin.
There we go. All right. There you go. There's a little singing for you.
There you go. It's the best I can do.
And again, that's a great old jazz song.
Frank Sinatra.
Sinatra, that's right.
Yes. don't know who
Okay,
wrote
let's
that song,
see. Yeah, I'm not sure who originally wrote it.
I can't remember either, but that's one.
That's the most famous.
That's one that I
version.
have memorized that I could actually
Yeah.
sing all the words. I think not too many of those.
Ahad's asking, what do I think of R. Rahman? I don't know who that is, Ahad. Is that a musician?
You have to tell us about him, about our
Yeah.
Rahman.
Sayonara says, your voice is beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to be putting out an album soon of all Frank Sinatra tunes.
There you go.
With Mark on drums. Maybe some Chet Baker songs.
Oh, I love Chet Baker. Man, he
me
gets
too,
he
yeah.
gets a lot of crap, I think, because he's, he always kind of was a little bit of like pop jazz, like he
Yeah.
did a little traditional stuff, but he also was not afraid to just sing ballads and
I know.
sing and be
I know.
just.
I think
But
that-
it was. I love his stuff.
I don't know
man.
why it was that he
Again, it's
somebody thought that there was some detraction from his
Right,
his music because
yeah.
he was a singer, but
Right.
he really was a singer.
He really
It
was.
wasn't like he forced himself.
Yeah, yeah, and
It
again,
was-
it's that whole thing of in jazz. There's that whole like if you're not breaking records and pushing the limits, then you're
Yeah.
not good.
Right,
know.
yeah.
And I always that was one thing that still grates on me. That still I don't appreciate that.
Yeah. And
Uh,
even being a singer in jazz has a little bit of a he's just a singer,
right.
like,
yeah.
and they don't get the respect that they deserve, perhaps.
I mean, I guess I just I got a little bit tired of hearing Donna Lee.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like if you guys don't know, Donna Lee's a famous song Charlie Parker did, and it's fast and it's crazy and it's
And it's
difficult
complicated,
and it's
yeah.
complicated and it's used as a way to test you, yeah,
Yes.
to see how good you are or not. If you can
Yes.
play that song well, then you're really good. Okay, fine, but that doesn't mean that you should always be doing music like that. That's
Yes.
one song. That's it.
Yep. Yep.
And again, if he wasn't able to play Donna Lee, would that mean he's not good? No. No, Chet
No.
Baker. I don't know if Chet would do Donna Lee. If he did, I don't think he'd do it the way that most people do it.
Probably not.
But I guess what I'm saying is, again, yeah, that wouldn't mean he's not a great musician.
It's just he's just got his own voice.
Right,
He's got
yeah.
his own unique thing that he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Absolutely.
Chet Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anyway, modesty, propriety could lead to maturity. Yeah, Johnny's another longtime follower of mine here.
Good use of language there.
Yeah.
Are we brothers? Are we? No.
Well, musical brothers.
Musical brothers, yes, but not family brothers. Not.
Do I know any Indian music? I do know some Indian music. Zakir Hussain, Ala Raka. I used to listen to what was his name? Oh, now I can't remember. Trilok Gurtu, a famous drummer. He's a really interesting drummer. He played like half tabla, half drum set.
Okay.
Very unique set. He's like on his knees playing, and has tabla drums, but he also has sticks and a cymbal, and it's all on the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very,
Oh,
very,
interesting.
very unique.
Huh.
Yeah.
And who's the famous sitar player? I can't think of his name.
Oh, yeah. Not Zakir Hussain.
I can't say it. Ahad's probably going to tell us here.
Yeah. Ala Raka is Ar-Rahman. Oh, okay. I
Oh.
just didn't know that was his name. All
Okay.
right. So, yeah. I listened to him many years ago. Yeah, I studied Indian music for just a little bit. Indian drumming. I learned the tala, which is the rhythmic system of counting. They do takadimi, 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 and it's all for tabla playing for
Yep.
fingers.
Yep, I'm familiar with that.
Takadimi,
Okay.
takada, takadimi, takada ta. And that's one reason why Indians, when they speak English, again, the part of the Indian accent is the Indian rhythm of Hindi, which is fast.
Okay.
It's Hindi is a fast language. When you hear it, everything, the rhythm of it is fast, and so when they speak English, they use that same rhythm, which is part of the reason why sometimes people have a hard time hearing Indians speak English, because their
Okay.
rhythm is still the same rhythm from Hindi. And
Yeah.
it's fast.
Yeah, just by
Yeah.
changing that rhythm, even though the words are clear, just by changing the rhythm, it
Yeah.
makes somebody from America
That's
maybe say,
right.
"Oh,
yeah. What is
did
that?
he say?" Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
So, Fatima, well, we were just talking about just about anything here, but it is about 12 o'clock, so I think it's just about time for us to wrap this up here. We've been here for about 2 hours. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was.
It goes by really quickly.
2
doesn't it?
hours.
I
Really?
told you, right?
Holy cow!
I know. That's what I said. Sometimes
went
I'm on
really
here for
fast.
like 3 hours, and it's
Wow.
like, wow, I had no idea it was that long. But it's fun talking to different people and just
Yeah.
having short little conversations with people around the world.
And if
so-
it helps them to just hear us speak,
That's right.
just hear us speak, or sometimes careful language and sometimes kind of more relaxed
That's right.
speaking.
Yeah.
That maybe that's always good, I guess.
I think it is.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting.
So let's see. Let's just answer a few more questions that are in the comments, and then we'll wrap it up here. So, which culture am I most obsessed with? I'm not obsessed with any one culture at all. World culture. I love food from all over the place. I love music from all over the place. I
Yeah.
love language from all over the place. Food, music, and language are my 3 favorite ways to relate to the world. And one thing that I do like about America is that we do have this mix of cultures. So, you can have Chinese food one night and Indian food the next night and Greek food the next night and French food and
Yep.
German food and Italian food. And,
Yep.
and that's how we grow up. We
Right.
grow up eating lots of different foods from lots of different places.
Expecting to have all of those things available.
Yeah, that's
correct.
right. Yeah,
That's right.
and it was interesting for me living in Taiwan, where everybody ate Chinese food pretty much every night, all the time. It was Chinese food,
It
and
was
Chinese
not-
food is great. I
Yeah.
love Chinese food, but it just was a new experience for me. I'm used to like letting my stomach determine what do I feel like eating today. You
Yeah.
know, like tacos, that sounds good. You
Yeah.
know, like or
Right.
pizza, oh that sounds good. You
Right.
know, like different things every
Variety.
time.
Uh-huh.
Variety, that's right.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Not quite as much variety in Taiwan.
Not
food.
quite as much. I mean, you
Yeah.
can find lots of different kinds of food, but it's just not as much.
You have to work a little bit
Yeah,
harder.
that's right. Of course they have great Italian restaurants and they have some French food and German stuff and whatever, but
I can
just
imagine.
not that many.
Okay.
And you have to go out of your way a little bit more. I mean, in your neighborhood, there'll just be a lot of Chinese places doing, or I should say,
Probably a little bit different, yeah.
I will say there's a lot of Asian food in general. So there'll
Right.
be Korean food and Japanese food and Malaysian food and Indonesian food, and then
Yeah.
yes, lots of Chinese food.
And I remember you and I talked a little bit about so much food being available, like street food.
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
and sometimes that's the best food of maybe one or two particular things that
Yeah.
are just excellently done by this one guy. Maybe all he has is a cart
Yeah.
on the street. for
Yeah,
example.
when I lived in Taiwan, when I first got there for the first I think it was 4 months. I lived in. Oh, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
I lived in a little area of my city called Fengjia, and I literally lived in. It was one of the biggest markets in my city. So Fengjia Night Market, Fengjia Yeshi, which every night it was like Disney World, man. I mean, there were just throngs of people in the streets coming to walk through the market, and I lived in one of the buildings right in the middle of that. So
wow.
it was great. In one sense, it was great because every night I could go out. It was almost like being at a festival.
Yeah.
Like every night you're at a festival.
Yeah.
On the other hand, when you just want to get some food for dinner.
Not,
And
it's
you have to
nothing
walk
simple.
just a few blocks down the road to the place to pick up your food.
Yep.
But you have to walk through the throngs of people to get there.
Yeah.
That was not so,
Always a little bit of a challenge
Yeah,
there, maybe
yeah.
sometimes more than you'd like.
So it first couple months it was amazing. I was like, oh, this is awesome. But after a while, the noise and the people and,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the crowds, it was.
It starts off as being excited with all that energy,
Yeah,
and then after a
but
while, it's like I would like a
who
little
wants
bit
to
less.
live in a festival?
Yeah, I would
you
like
know?
a little less
Right.
energy, maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Interesting.
So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it up here because it's about 12 o'clock here and it's time for us to take a break. But I want to thank everybody for coming and watching here. I will be back on Monday, and on Monday I will have another host with me. My new friend Clay is going to be joining me, and we'll have Stu back again sometime whenever he's
Yeah.
available. You let me know, and you want to come back and do it again sometime.
sure.
It would be good. Yeah.
For sure.
And please make sure you guys do follow my live streams, follow my account here. If you go to my profile, click on my profile, and you'll find all of my links. It'll be about the same time, Armand. I think, it depends on my teaching schedule in the morning. Sometimes in the morning I have to teach private lessons, so my live stream might be a little bit later. But I try to have my live stream somewhere between 9:30 to 10:30. Somewhere, that's when I start, somewhere in that time period. So around that time, okay? Please make sure you go to my profile page and you'll see my link tree. And on my link tree, you can find my website, you can find my YouTube, you can find all my social media, my Facebook, everything, right? So you can go there and follow me. Okay? What advice will you give to young youths? Okay, that's an interesting question.
Wow. That's
I know it's kind of big, right?
That's a big one.
a big question.
That's a big one. Be true to yourself, but have a backup plan.
Yeah, be true to yourself, but have a backup plan. And I think I would just say, I think looking back on my life now, I think I wish I would have studied more about the world earlier.
Yeah.
Have an understanding that you may be born in a small town, but you still live on a big planet.
Yeah.
And the sooner we all start paying attention to that, the more I think that you'll have more chance for success in life if you pay attention to the fact that you're a human being on Earth, more so than just a person who lives in your little neighborhood.
Yep. And take any opportunity you can to travel outside of the country that you live in, and those experiences are more meaningful than you could imagine. And they always just help. Those experiences help you grow, and they help you to see when you come back to your own country. They help you see your own world in a different light, in a different way.
If you go to that link that I just put there, you should be able to find everything for me. Copy that and paste that into your browser. linktr.ee/AFIEC, a friend in every country, or a friend in every corner, I should say. Okay, so once again, guys, thank you guys. Hey, Miguel, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Miguel lives in New Orleans now.
Oh, cool.
He just moved to New Orleans.
Oh, wow. That's a
I
cool
know.
place to
Such a
hang
great
out.
place. That's what I told him. I was like, man, like, in America, that's one of the best places for food and music.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much better.
That
I
sounds
mean,
like-
New York City and Chicago are up there, but
I'm on my way.
yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
go
yeah.
get some gumbo.
Yeah, I know, right? I love New Orleans. Yeah.
Sounds great.
So, all right, guys. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for following. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you live in the world. Don't forget to be a language warrior. There's no
right.
shyness in language learning. You cannot be shy and be a successful language learner. So put your shyness in a box, put it away, because it's not helping you right now for language, okay?
Yep.
Dana, if you go to my profile page on Hello Talk, you'll find my links, okay? If you go to my profile page, you'll find everything you need there, okay? All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Come back and see me on Monday with another new host, okay? And we'll have Stu back again sometime because I think you guys enjoyed talking to him, and I think he had a good time too.
Me too. Yes. Thanks for having me,
All right,
Mark.
yeah, it was my
Appreciate
pleasure. Yeah, it was my pleasure, man. It's good to have, an Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm glad to be Ed McMahon. Hey-o.
Hey, yo, that's right. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys next time.